Happy New Year's, everyone. We are here in 2026. It's been a couple days since the new year has started, and I want to take this chance to reflect on 2025, what the year has been like for me, and just share a little bit of what my journey has been like the past year. And so, the beginning of the year, it really started with me accepting the fact that I'm gonna move to Japan, to an entirely different country with a different culture and language, and starting almost like a new life there. And from January to not February, to around April when I departed from the US, my mindset was basically preparing for a transition. So even with like my work, I had to eventually uh, switch and the job that I was currently working at, and also I had to just meet a lot of friends that I was gonna see. I wasn't gonna see as much as I would living in Japan, right? There's gotta be a lot of friends and my community that I'm gonna miss, that I'm just not gonna have in Japan, right? Uh, those friendships and relationships that I built over the past few years, or even lifelong relationships, like just spending time with them before starting a new life. So there is that. And I remember also traveling. I did my last travel going to the UK, going to London, going to England, Ireland, Scotland, and then going to Spain, doing a trip with my friends in Spain. And yeah, and just spending time with family, doing the last remaining things that I want to do in California before I move to a entirely different place. And it was bittersweet to experience that, because I could feel it just in my heart, like this is one chapter of my life that's gonna close, and I'm turning the page and starting a new chapter. And so it was kind of sad to meet a lot of my friends, maybe possibly for the last time. Although it's not certain, but, the thing with moving on to a different stage in life, and as time goes on, there'll be friendships that maybe might not be possible to maintain over the course of your life, and you make new friends over time, which I had since my time here in Japan. But some friendships, like a lot of friendships, I do try to keep in contact, because I do really cherish those relationships. But um, yeah, it's been really nice and sad at the same time to see all my friends, and I've been very fortunate to see as many people as I could, as I prepare for departure. And also having to leave like my family and my parents behind too. That's also kind of tough too, because I've lived with my family for almost my entire life, and to up and leave once again, and to live on my own, and to do my own thing, to pursue things that I want to do for myself here in Japan, is also tough too. But I know it was necessary. It was the right move to make. So my mind was basically in the mode of transition and understanding, like the closing of one chapter and starting a new chapter in my life. And so that was a lot of what was going on. I would say the first trimester of my of 2025. And then now that I moved into Japan late April, and I was adjusting to my life here. So from the spring, I would say, to the summer, it was a big learning curve, because everything was so brand new, and because everything's so brand new, it did bring a lot of eagerness and excitement. Because I was definitely excited to see all the new things and try new things and experience the Japanese culture, eat good Japanese food, make new friends. But it was also very challenging because you come into the country and you don't know the language. You're still trying to learn the customs and the etiquette of how Japanese culture worked, right? For me, it was a bit easier because, like, me growing up in a Korean culture and a Korean family, like, there's a lot of similarities between the two countries. So even learning the language too is a bit easier because even the pronunciation of the characters and the words of the alphabet, and even like there's also a lot of words for Japanese and Korean that are the same, and so that made Japanese learning Japanese a bit easier. So there's a lot of learning the language, learning the the etiquette, the customs, right? Just learning how to get myself around, to function, to survive, to live, right? To live like a daily life and get a routine going, right? And build friendships and communities. And that definitely took a while. So that's like another 3 to 4 months of adjusting, right, to the culture, adjusting to my surroundings and trying to build friendships and relationships and community. And that was not easy, but at the same time it was a lot of fun because everything was so new, and the process of just kind of figuring things out kind of brought a lot of excitement. And with my job too, teaching English, like, surprisingly, I enjoyed that right off the bat. And even to this point, like, I still really enjoy it. I realized how much I enjoy teaching English and just getting along with, like, my coworkers and the students, and always, like, every day just seeing them and helping them, and developing relationships with them. Like, that's actually been a lot of fun. So I have no regrets there. And but again, like, even working in a Japanese schools like that, also I had to learn the adjustment to know the rules and know the etiquette, make sure I'm doing well while I'm teaching English, while I'm in the classes, helping out the teachers and all that, and just getting along with the kids. But it has been fun, even though it has been challenging the following 4 months. And you know also, like, traveling too and going to different parts of Japan and making new friends. Like, I've really enjoyed the process of doing that. And so I would say right after, like, summer, once we got into the fall and heading in towards the winter, so maybe the last 4 months of 2025, now at this point things have really settled in. I found, like, my communities, like, things I got myself plugged into, like, doing community service type of work with do sports, do kids sports, and also improving on my Japanese, being able to communicate better. Now it's starting to feel more like home, and I'm more settled in at this point. And now I've also starting to make friendships and relationships with Japanese people here, despite the language barrier. But actually learning the language has helped a lot in developing those relationships. So now that I got myself more settled in, now I feel comfortable, and it feels more like home. Now feels like I'm really more plugged into the community, and I've solidified myself with building relationships in my work, in my community, where I live. And I've also been continuing to travel a bit more in Japan and see different parts of Japan, what Japan's all about. So learning more about the culture, learning more about visiting different places, like, I've really been enjoying that. So now that I'm settled in, like, I feel more comfortable now. Now it doesn't feel so much like an adjustment period, but now I'm pretty much settled in, and we're happy to be where I'm at and enjoying what I do for my job. So that's pretty much been it for 2025. And towards the end of 2025, obviously just staying here in the winter to celebrate the holidays here in Japan, to know how the Japanese celebrate Christmas and the New Year's. So that's been pretty interesting. That's been fun too, and a new experience. So I've enjoyed that as well. So that pretty much sums up my year of 2025. It was a huge adjustment period for me, but I like the fact that I'm able to do something that I enjoy, that I'm able to plug myself into a new community. Although it is also, tough and bittersweet to leave those communities that I had back home in California, but to start new ones, it's just kind of part of life, and that's part of the transition process. But nevertheless, I've enjoyed it, and I've always just tried to stay present in whatever I did. Whether it was, meeting old friends in California and leaving that part of my chapter behind me, and also trying to develop like new relationships here and adjusting to an entirely different culture here in Japan. So, and then eventually getting myself settled in here in Japan and calling it home. So it it has been quite a ride for 2025 and a big transition, but I've enjoyed the transition, and I think it was definitely worth doing. And so for 2026, man, I will be most of my 2026, will definitely be here in Japan. I'll definitely be here still working. And we'll see what 2026 brings. Maybe that's something I will share in the next video as I get a chance to, think about it and maybe game plan or brainstorm what it is that I want to do for 2026. But 2025, we also made a lot of content while I was here in Japan, and we switched up the content a little bit. Well, actually, probably not, because even before, when I was in California, I was doing a lot of videos about sharing my thoughts and perspectives on a lot of things and a lot of topics. So we still continue to do that. We still continue to do 30-day challenges and some content about Japan as well. So I want to continue to do that. And we'll see what kind of content we do, but I'm really appreciative people who subscribe, new subscribers, and people who still continue to watch me. And I've been more willing to just share like what's been going on in my life, and just kind of like what kind of thoughts and perspectives I have on different types of subjects. So I'm happy to share that, and I'm really happy for the support and everything. And yeah, 2025 has been a very interesting year, very unique year for me personally. And I hope to continue to keep putting out content and keep sharing my thoughts, keep sharing what's going on in my life, because I do enjoy the process of content creating and sharing things about myself. So I hope to continue to do that in 2026. But yeah, that pretty much sums up 2025 for me. And for the most part, it's been a really good year, so I can't complain at all. Although not everything is all, jolly and happy things as maybe I would like to portray it here on the channel, or people like to portray on social media. It has its ups and downs. There are challenges too, with the transition and all that, but there's also a lot of good that came from it too, and a lot of great experiences from it. So hopefully you get a chance to reflect on your 2025 and whatever you've been through. I hope it's always another year for growth, that you grow from the experience and you don't let those experiences go to waste, because I feel like every experience that you go through in life, there's always something to draw from it. And so that's what I try to do at the end of every year. And this time around, I wanted to share it with you guys of my reflection of 2025. And yeah, on the next one, hope to share a little bit what to look forward to in 2026. So until then, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one.